Welcome to the Explainer. So today we are diving into a brand new AI release that is literally resetting the industry bar. If you build with AI, or honestly, even if you just follow this space, you know how these massive product drops usually go, right? Well, what we're looking at today absolutely shatters the established rules of how models are brought to market. We've got a major AI lab pulling off a maneuver that completely changes the math on performance, on pricing, and how we actually deploy artificial intelligence in the real world. Let's just get right into it. Okay, so what's the core disruptive premise here? Well, think about this standard playbook. For a major AI lab, it's always been about building this massive hype and then dropping a single monolithic flagship release. Just one giant model that's supposed to be the smartest in the room. But this week, a major lab completely flipped that script. They previewed a new model family, but instead of one big release, they dropped 3 distinct models at the exact same time. And why does that actually matter to us? Because it means developers no longer have to shoehorn some massive, incredibly expensive model into a basic workflow, or on the flip side, rely on an underpowered model for really complex engineering. It is a total game changer. Section 1. Breaking down the tiers, the anatomy of the new arsenal. So this multi-tier strategy is all about assigning highly specific jobs to each model. We've got 3 distinct tiers catering directly to what builders actually need. Starting at the bottom, we have the smallest tier. Its designated job: fast, cheap, high-volume work. Think about summarizing massive documents or drafting 100 emails, tasks where speed and cost efficiency are basically everything. Then, moving up a level, we hit the middle tier. This is your everyday workhorse. It's designed specifically for standard business tasks, but here is the kicker. It does this at roughly half the cost of normal operations. And finally, sitting right at the peak is the top tier. This one, definitely not for drafting emails. It is precision engineered for the hardest, most complex coding and research problems out there. It's basically an arsenal where you can choose the exact right tool for the job. Now, the strategic contrast in pricing here tells a massive story. Take a look at the middle tier. The lab has priced this to aggressively undercut the going rate for their competitors' mid-size models. It is a direct shot across the bow to capture market share for everyday business apps. Meanwhile, look at the top tier. Despite an absolutely massive jump in capabilities, which, by the way, we'll get to in just a second, they are holding the price entirely steady. It costs the exact same as its less capable predecessor. So they're squeezing the competition in the middle while offering what's basically a free upgrade in power at the top. Pretty brilliant, right? Section 2. Setting new benchmark records. The benchmark bombshell. Of course, a 3-tier strategy is just a marketing gimmick unless the performance actually backs it up. To understand these new benchmark scores, we first have to look at the secret architecture powering the top tier when it's running in its most advanced mode. It's called a subagent architecture. What this means is that the model deploys multiple AI subagents that work in parallel on the exact same problem simultaneously. So, instead of one AI process trying to slowly muscle its way through a hard coding issue in a linear way, it breaks the problem apart. It deploys specialized subagents to tackle the hardest coding and research problems concurrently. This parallel processing is absolutely the key that unlocks their next-level capabilities. And the result of that architecture? 92%. Well, okay, just under 92% to be precise. But that is the score this top-tier model achieved on Terminal Bench. And for some context here, Terminal Bench is not some simple multiple-choice quiz. It's a grueling benchmark that tests how well an AI can complete actual, real-world command-line engineering tasks. Scoring nearly 92% represents a brand new state of the art. It is officially ahead of every single previously published score on that test, period. It's just a massive leap forward for AI software engineering. And, this brilliantly illustrates the sheer blistering speed of AI advancement right now. Remember that smallest, cheapest tier we just talked about? The one built just for fast, high-volume drafting? Well, even that smallest model outperformed the most expensive, top-of-the-line flagship models from just last year on the exact same terminal bench test. I mean, let that sink in for a second. Today's budget-friendly entry-level model is demonstrably smarter at engineering tasks than the absolute best, most expensive models the entire industry had to offer only 12 months ago. It's mind-blowing. Section 3. The coming industry response. The market shockwave. Obviously, a release of this magnitude doesn't just happen in a vacuum. Let's look at the timeline to see how this is going to build. Right now, access is tightly controlled. It's limited to a small group of vetted partners. But that exclusivity won't last long at all. Moving into the coming weeks, we expect broader public availability, which is when builders everywhere will get to start actually plugging these specific tiers into their workflows. And that leads us to the near future, within the quarter. For builders, this rollout is a massive preview of where pricing and performance are universally headed, mostly because the competition simply has no choice but to respond. Which really leaves us with this massive question hanging over the industry. How will the rival labs react? You can definitely expect competing labs to make some major moves within the next few months. But what's that actually going to look like? Are they going to immediately slash their own mid-tier prices in a race to the bottom just to protect their everyday enterprise clients? Or are they going to be forced right back to the drawing board to push out their own multi-tier model families just to match this new paradigm? The era of the single monolithic flagship model might actually be over. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep a close eye on the market because the next few weeks are going to be absolutely fascinating.